Today, I'm going to be reacting to Graham Stephan, how YouTuber Graham Stephan lives in LA on $1.6 million a year. Jesus Christ, that's something I cannot imagine. But if he's living in California, I actually imagine that's going to afford less than I think. But I followed Graham Stephan for a long while. I know he's really big on being frugal and working for yourself and making lots of money. So I'm sure that he doesn't spend nearly what the average person spends. I'm gonna see if holding it in the video this time actually makes it sound a little bit better because it was really quiet last time and the quality wasn't where I wanted it to be. So I'm excited to get started. Let's just jump right into it.
Hi, my name is Graham Stephan. I'm 29 years old. I'm a real estate agent, investor, and YouTuber living in Los Angeles making $1.6 million per year. I have $0 in credit card debt, $0 in student loans, $1.8 million in savings, and just over $4 million in real estate investments.
Killing it. It's crazy because he's not he's a little bit older. He's a little bit older than I am. I think he's in his early 30s. I'm in my late 20s. Um, and he's got $4 million. He's got 4 million in real estate, almost 2 million in the bank just in savings. No debt is another thing. So that's incredible.
So I spent $585,000 on this duplex, and then I spent another $80,000 remodeling it. My mortgage is just over $2,800 a month, and my utilities are about $110 a month.
That's high. Jesus Christ. My rent is only about $1,250. So double the rent, but he has the money. So
Buy and live in a duplex because I really wanted to save the extra money and at least have some other rental income coming in to subsidize my cost of living. And this place took me about 6 months to find, but when it came on the market, it was a really good deal, and I knew I could rent out the other unit to basically pay for my mortgage and most of my property taxes. And that way, that would allow me to essentially live here completely rent or mortgage free.
So what he just mentioned is referred to as house hacking. It's a big thing. You rent or buy a multifamily unit, and then you rent out the other half, and then you use their payment to pay your payment, which essentially allows you to live rent free. And whenever I get around to getting a place, I think that'll probably be the first thing that I try to do because it seems really interesting. And I'm sure maybe finding good tenants would probably be the biggest challenge because I have zero experience in real estate and marketing and finding people and that sort of thing. But I'm excited to try. So cool, great ideas.
Growing up, my parents did not have any sort of abundance of money or anything like that, and I definitely saw how hard they worked, and a lot of times it really was paycheck to paycheck. So I think seeing that really forced me to go in almost an extreme in terms of saving and investing and really making that a priority so I would never have to worry about money. Even as a young kid, I would always just be obsessed about saving everything I could get, and even from birthdays and Christmases, have an envelope with just all my like $20 bills in there, and I'd get really excited when it would hit like $100. I actually got more enjoyment, I think, from saving than I did from spending.
That's a big thing about kids, especially with the ones that don't grow up with any money. I used to work in a school. A lot of the kids there were in financial troubles, and it's something that's always plaguing their mind. And in the case of Graham, it shaped him up to be someone who was really very intentional with his money and um, kind of developed his own goals around what kind of life he wanted to live financially. And for a lot of people, I know that's not the case, and it's a shame. Um, but it's really great to see somebody who grew up with this kind of difficulty and who made it, and he's thriving. So good on him. That's awesome.
So I became a millionaire by working as a real estate agent. Originally, I had planned to go to college, but when I didn't get into college, I was basically screwed. I had really bad grades in high school, and I figured I needed to do something and get some work experience for a year before I reapply to colleges. I got my real estate license. I ended up really loving the career, and then after I sold my first house, I was just like, I'm never going to college after this. So
He did the exact opposite thing I did. I did really great in high school. Went on to college, did good in college. Um, but again, that just goes to show that you don't necessarily need a college degree just to do great in life, especially when it comes to finances. And that's coming from a guy with a master's degree. It helps, probably 99.5% of the time, uh, if it's something that's relevant, but it's not necessary.
My YouTube income varies month to month, but usually it's anywhere between $150,000 a month and $250,000 a month. So these two chairs I originally found on Wayfair, but then what I did to save money is I did a reverse image search on Google and I found the exact same chairs from another company for half the cost. So in terms of furnishing my place, I was able to get the majority of it at wholesale cost, so it really only cost me about 30% of what it would if I bought it at retail. If you just do a reverse image search on Google of the item you want to get, almost always you could find it somewhere else for significantly cheaper, and that's what I've done if I didn't get it at wholesale.
Pro savings tips. That probably could have saved me money on this sectional I bought. God damn it. I need to keep that in mind for next time whenever I move. So, pro tip.
You can get candles for a few dollars each at Ross. You have no idea how expensive they are, and I think this was like $3, but it looks like it could be a $15 or $20 candle. It's a great way to save a lot of money. This is something I actually did myself with a friend. A contractor wanted like $600 to go and redo this because Spanish tile is, believe it or not, really expensive, but I found a place that ships directly from Mexico, and this was $2 a tile, so I got it shipped, did the whole thing for really under about $160.
It's amazing how he can make so much money, and he clearly has excess, clearly based on the way that he's living. It's amazing how he has that level of control where he can say, look, obviously I have the money to pay for all this if I really wanted to and avoid all of this hassle, but I'm going to go through the effort of saving money and being very intentional with where I spend my cash. And that's something that I'm trying to work on myself. And I was really bad at it as a teenager, but as an adult, I've gotten a lot better at it, especially when the numbers come out of your own bank account. And every dollar really does matter. So this is very impressive, and it's something for me to learn from.
So over here you have my bar, and this is something I never really use. This is just visually looks kind of cool and fills the space. I almost never drink. This is Diet Coke mixed with water. It's not actually Jim Beam honey. Same with this, you would have no idea that this is not Jack Daniels. Instead, it's just Diet Coke and water. And you find the right mixture and it looks exactly like Jack Daniels. All of this is really just for decoration, and I want to make it seem like I have a fully stocked bar when in actuality I have a stocked bar full of watered down Diet Coke and water. And by the way, proof it's just water.
I don't care what you say. You could really just be an alcoholic. You know, who knows? That didn't prove anything.
They never go out and buy coffee because I could just make it at home for 20 cents, and that's just what I've always done just to save the extra money.
You spend so much money going out for coffee. I swear to God, I never noticed until I made it a habit to quit. And I know people who will go out and buy coffee from Starbucks every single day. And that venti is like $5, $6. And so if you're spending $6 a day on a cup of coffee, let's say 5 days a week, average 5 days a week, 4 weeks a month, that would bring you to about $120 a bucks just buying stupid coffee. That's not to mention all the snacks. That's not to mention all of the added extras and things that you put on your coffee. And so Starbucks is making bank off of people with bad habits. And so the fact that he can, get his coffee every single day for a couple of cents, that's huge savings. That's actually greater than the cost of his utilities. That's huge.
So underneath you have my trash can here, and one of the cool things I do to save money is I reuse the old grocery bags, and I actually save a lot of money on doing this. I don't buy garbage bags. Just put this over and look, it's pretty much the same thing. And I spend about $200 a month on groceries and another $150 a month eating out. I also like to look for happy hours. If you're gonna go out to eat, you may as well just go and find that 2-hour window where things are gonna be half price and just eat as much as you can then, and that's gonna usually save you about like 30 to
Yeah, going out to eat is another big one. Um, I limit my going out to eat less than I go out to eat less than 5 times a month because, as you can see, he spends 200 on groceries, and that's what sustains him for what the entire month, as opposed to going out. You can spend 30, 40 bucks going out easily for just one meal.
My favorite thing about this place is that it really doesn't cost me anything to live here, and that gives me a lot of financial peace of mind, just knowing that, you know, worst case scenario, if just everything stops entirely, that I will be totally fine here, and I don't have to stress about it.
That's really awesome. It's the last bit that he mentioned where he's talking about the best thing about the place was that you don't have to pay, was that he doesn't have to pay anything to live there, basically. Um, hits home because that's a place that I personally want to get to, um, and I think that watching his videos, being intentional about what I'm doing with my money, um, and just taking good advice and taking it one step at a time. Uh, I really hope that I get there one day. All right, guys, time for a bit of budget talk. So, if we just assume that Graham makes 1.6 million in a year, and let's also, just for the sake of the argument, assume that he takes it all as income, so no business write-offs or anything like that, then he's going to be paying a federal tax rate of about 34.4%. And because he lives in Los Angeles, California, at least at the time of this video, he would also be paying an additional effective state tax of a little bit over 11%. And so ultimately, of that 1.6 million, he's going to be spending about 782,000 just in taxes. And then we have to tack on his living expenses. So that's $2,800 a month in rent, $110 a month in utilities, and $350 a month in food. And when we tack all those things together, Graham is spending about $39,120 a year. In the end, if we tack the two of these things together, Graham is left with about $777,000 left to spend each year, which is a mind-blowing amount of money still, but it really hurts to see that half of it just goes to living and taxes. Good God. But hey, when you have $750,000 to spend, yeah, it stings a little less. Anyway, guys, this is my first video. It's been a lot of fun. I don't know where the channel will go from here. I'll do more reactions. I'll do a couple of budget analyses. Just more fun things that have to do with finance and maybe some tips and tricks on how you can save money and build your own budget and things like that. Anyway, guys, if you watched the video and you enjoyed the content and you'd like to see more, please go ahead and drop me a like and a subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I'm just getting my channel started, and I would love to see where it can go from here. So thank you all, and I'll see you next time. But guys, if you like the video, go ahead and leave me a like, subscribe, and there will be more content in the future, maybe. I'm gonna edit this outro. Oh, I still don't know how to do a proper outro. It's okay. This is video too.